Okay.
And give it a second.
Hello, guys.
And there we go. Now we're live.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Comic Cast, where we talk about comics and it's a podcast.
Exactly. That's it. That's the name. That's where it comes from.
So, have you read any comics, Vlad, on Comic Cast?
Oh God, we're doing it this way. We're over enthusiastic. We're excited. Yes, I have. Why is I panicked?
Yeah, what comics?
I've read a couple of comics. I've read Alien #3. Let's see. I've read Jen McKay's Avengers #2. There was oh God, what's it called? Hold on one second. Let me get it. It's an indie comic. I can't remember the name though. Give me a second. Where's it at?
I've read like a shit ton of comic books. Which one you want me to talk about?
Give me a second. I can't find this comic. Where the hell did I set this comic book down at?
Life is amazing.
Where the fuck is this comic book? What the fuck happened? Okay.
Just say the name.
I
Just
don't remember
say
it.
the name, man.
I don't remember the name. It was like some Soviet spy thriller thing. I can't remember the name of it. It was fun though. It was the fourth one.
Is it a sequel to The Wild?
I don't think it is.
So it's not Al Ewing's Venom run.
No, it's
Shit.
not. It's an indie comic. It was really fun though. It was like the fourth one in the series. Like it was like one out of there was like 4 out of 4
randomly.
Yeah, I just picked it up. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is the last one of this series. Let me pick it up and I'll find the rest on eBay. So I went into it with no fucking context, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I dig it. I'm vibing with it.
That's the clearest thing that like makes the world better.
Oh god, just jumping into comics completely fucking blind. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the great thing about comics. You can't do that with movies or TV shows.
I know.
You can do that with comimies.
I mean, I think you can do it with movies and TV. I just don't think it's as fun. Like, have you ever fallen asleep during a movie and then you wake up 30 minutes into it and you're so fucking confused? Like,
that's how it feels like picking up a random issue of Time Runs Out, probably.
Yeah, it's like you kind of just. I mean, it was confusing, and I kind of still don't know what the fuck happened, and I need to read more of it. I need to pick up the rest on eBay. But, like, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I was like, I kind of want to find the rest on eBay and pick it up.
How many references to Christianity there are in the book?
I don't think there was any, but I wasn't paying attention to that kind of stuff. I don't know why you want the atheist to pay attention to religion in a comic book, but okay.
I don't know.
Like, that's not something we normally do as atheists. We don't usually pay attention to Christianity, contrary to popular belief. It's just kind of like, okay.
Okay, I get it. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about this book. I might as well ask stupid random questions.
If I can fucking find it, I can answer some questions because I read it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I can talk about something else.
Yes, while I look for the book, you can talk about something else.
So, Symbiote Spider-Man by Peter David and Greg Land.
You're very excited. I found it!
This book is frustrating. Because Symbiote Spider-Man, at its core, it's a really great story about Peter learning that the symbiote is bad for you. It's kind of like being addicted.
Yeah.
And it makes you weird. The weird stuff. But it's drawn by Greg Land. Have you ever seen anything that Greg Land draws, my friend Vlad?
I have, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Greg Land is an artist, quote unquote, who traces a lot. And you'll never guess what he traces, usually.
What?
Porn.
Oh, God. God damn it.
Yeah, so everyone, I mean everyone, looks like a weird... How can I say this without getting banned? A weird sexual object trying to act human.
Oh, God.
Everyone looks like that. It's awful. That book looks like weird human-like dolls who try to be human. The entire thing is that. Like, in terms of art. In terms of story, it's an actual story, but, like, the art fucking sucks. Genuinely, when I was reading Spider-Man No More, kind of at the same time, I was like, what the fuck? I finally know what Spider-Man looks like, drawn by a human being who doesn't do human-like dolls, but actually draws humans in a stylized way. Like, that was weird.
I found it. It's called Red Zone by AWA Presentation, or AWA, I meant. So, it was pretty good. It is a Russian spy thriller kind of
There's any lesbians?
No, but there is a big busty Russian agent chick.
Based!
It's pretty good. I liked it. Let's see, the art is done by, the illustrator is Mike Deodato Jr., colorist is Lee Luridge, and the writer is Cullen Bunn.
Oh my god. Cullen Bunn?
I don't know who Cullen Bunn is, I just know he wrote this.
Cullen Bunn! Oh my god!
Which Cullen Bunn?
Dude.
Who are we talking about?
Stuff that I adore. What?
Well, what has Cullen Bunn done? Because I don't know what he's done. I just know he wrote this Red Zone.
He's done a shit ton of metal work. He's done a shit ton of netball work. He's done Basilisk. That comic fucking slaps. Even though, like, every issue is structured the same. Like, seriously, Cullen Bunn is a legend. He's an awesome guy.
Huh. Okay. Based.
Yeah, also, Mike Deodato Jr., I fucking hate his art.
Yeah, the art is bad. I don't like the art in this book.
I don't like Mike Deodato. That's like my take. He only draws good one thing, and it's Venom.
Yeah.
He doesn't draw well faces. It looks weird.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, the art of this book is a mess. Like,
to be honest, drawing faces, to me, is the most important thing in art. If you can't do that, the art sucks! Like, unless you're not drawing faces, you're drawing weird, unhuman creatures.
Yeah. The faces are kind of weird. And I don't like... Maybe this is just their choice, but the fucking female Russian agent in this is in this really, like, skin-tight red dress. And it just looks so awkward.
I don't think it's Mike's choice.
Yeah, it's not his choice, it's just... There's a lot of shadowing, so it looks really weird. Because I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't look natural. Like, this art looks so unnatural with this lady.
Hey, MCU man, do you like Mike Deodato Jr.?
Why? What's up? What do you do?
It's a book. It's a comic that I have. It's an indie comic called Red Zone by AWA.
Drawn by Mike Deodato
is
Jr.
Mike Deodato.
I think Mike Deodato's work is great. I just don't know how I feel about him as a person right now.
I don't fuck with this art. I just want to say it. I don't fuck with the art in this comic book.
It's a little sketchy, you know? It's like
it's really shaded. It's like it mixes between very contrasty brights while being very dark. It's really weird. Like the faces look kind of off.
That works on something like Venom. That works way better on something like Venom.
Yeah.
On actual humans, I don't like it that much.
Oh, I didn't like his work on Dark Avengers.
Yeah, that work looks weird.
Like, his Spider-Man work is better, but I normally like chalk that up to the colorist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to blame the colorist at least for the colors. I'm going to just blame that guy. Who is it again? It is Lee Luridge. Lowridge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame him for the colors, but the actual art itself, like if the colors were a little better, I still don't think it would be good art because there's like a lot of stuff here that just kind of feels off. Like the faces feel off. It's just
Oh my god, I remember why I like Colin Bunn so much. He wrote the best Magneto series ever.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he wrote a Magneto book. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he wrote this Red Zone story. And I haven't read the other 3 issues. I literally just picked up issue number 4 because it had like a variant cover on the shelf, just had like fucking looked like a James Bond spy thriller, but in Russia. And I was like, I'm gonna pick this up. But it was an okay story. I liked it. I need to pick up the rest, but it was pretty good. Like, I have some gripes with the art and stuff. I don't like how they drew like the main female character, I'm assuming, just because she's in this really weird red dress, like a lot of it, and it looks so unnatural. Like, I don't know. It's the colorist. It's their fucking fault because it looks so bad. But,
yeah. Sometimes a colorist can make the art, can either enhance the art style or like make it look way worse.
Yeah, like really they're in a city, and then it goes to I think Chernobyl, and it's like the city that they're in that isn't Chernobyl looks like Chernobyl, like with how the color of the art is. It's really jarring. Like,
yeah,
I don't fuck with it, but the story was all right. I mean, it's definitely an indie comic, but it was all right, and I kind of vibe with it. I want to pick up the rest so I kind of understand.
What do you have against indie comics? What do you have against indie comics?
I'm not saying I have anything against indie comics. I'm just saying that this just doesn't feel as polished. Like, some of the dialogue is a little strange, but I just feel like it could be a little bit more polished, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just being very judgmental. But
it's the idea of not having that much editorial oversight.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's super interesting about American indie comics, about indie comic books in general.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting where there's not that much oversight. I do like it, though. I'm not saying it's a bad book. Like, I'm just saying I feel like it could use a little polish, different artists, or colorists, I should say. And, you know, I think it would be really good, but it's still really fun, and I liked it. And I'm really glad I got this fucking variant cover because it looks awesome. But, you know, it's alright. I say, you know, pick it up off eBay, just check it out. It's called Red Zone by AWA.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, though.
So, yeah, cool. So, what do y'all think of Jed McKay's Avengers issue 2?
Oh god, that was really good.
McKay's Avengers is beautiful. Beautiful, good stuff.
I like how Kang is just like trying to get their trust, and he's just like, look, you know what? Here's how to save a bunch of people. You know, I don't give a fuck about their lives. Like, I was like, damn, he's just like, yeah, I'm just doing this so that you can fucking listen to me. That was
I was watching somebody else review the book. You know that part where, because somebody else brought up a very good point about this.
Yeah.
Right. They said, I love that book, by the way. They said, this might come back later on, because maybe these lives weren't meant to be saved.
Yeah.
So it's basically Across the Spider-Verse all over again.
Or maybe what happens is that they, like, there's some sort of consequence for this shit, but it's not like universe shattering, like Across the Spider-Verse incompetently handled.
Yeah.
What did you say about Across the Spider-Verse?
It's incompetent.
Oh shit.
How? Why?
It's incompetent, inconsistent, and it relies on 2 other movies to tell the rest of its plot. This is a stopgap movie, and this is something that a lot of people criticize the MCU for doing, but then they don't apply this criticism to this because it's a guy in a spider costume.
So, I agree. The people you're talking about are hypocrites. But, like, I just want to say, movies being divided into part 1 and part 2 are, like, incredibly important in modern cinema history. Like, it's not just the MCU who did it. Like, a lot of major film franchises did this. I think think outside of the Lucasfilm franchises, I
Yeah.
don't think there's been a Hollywood franchise who hasn't done this.
Yeah.
And the
Even
balls
Twilight.
compare it to Empire Strikes Back. Oh my god.
Oh
To
yeah,
compare it
yeah.
to Empire, they're like, well, Empire Strikes Back ended on a cliffhanger. No, it had an ending.
Yeah.
they they were on their they were in the rebel fleet by the end of the movie. It didn't cut as Luke was like hanging on to the end of the like to that satellite in Bespin.
Yeah.
Right? That's not how that movie ended. The balls to compare the two is just blows my mind.
I still haven't seen it, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it.
No, I feel like the comparison to Empire Strikes Back is more so the more ambitious sequel with the darker story. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I also feel like it's kind of inevitable that the movie would basically become like would basically end on this, and like for years it wouldn't get resolved. Like genuinely, with the production issues, how you could have wrote the movie without adding like another hour or two of film, like to have it end. Like seriously, because I feel like we wouldn't have a problem with this if it weren't for the production problems and probable delays for Beyond the Spider-Verse.
And that's why that makes that cliffhanger even more irresponsible.
Why do you think that? That do you think that they should have spent more time polishing up the story and fixing any continuity issues instead of leaving it on a cliffhanger?
I feel like if they were going to put it on a cliffhanger, if they were going to do that, they should have made it a more reasonable cliffhanger. Like, just leave it at Earth 42. Just leave it there, where Aaron Davis walks into the door and is just like Earth 42. Boom, cut to black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That would have been fine, right?
Okay. You made a great point.
Right, that's how you would have fixed that problem, right? In terms of them ending it on the cliffhanger that they did leave it on, which Miles is pretty much tied up to a punching bag, and the Prowler comes down, and the Prowler apparently is like a super vigilante type dude because the Sinister Six took over the world in Earth 42.
Or at least took over America.
Took over America and shit like that. I think what should have happened is they shouldn't have left it off there, because now that ending seems to imply that, oh yeah, we're gonna see you guys real soon. Yeah, we're gonna see you guys in a year.
Yeah, and it's
Same
going to
time.
be like 2025 before we even see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2025 before we even see it. To where I'm like, yep, that's irresponsible. That was a really dumbass ending, and that was a really dumbass thing to do.
I don't think there's much they could have done though. Like, honestly.
Oh yeah, we have, and they're not doing because like they treated their animators like trash, right? I noticed that when Marvel Studios did it, it was it was like, hey, you gotta stop treating your VFX people like shit. These people don't get to really rest. They're constantly doing X, Y, and Z. But when Sony does it, everybody is they don't know how to feel about it. They're like, wow, I really did like this studio. They really turned out a really good profit, and I can't believe they would have done such a thing to their animators. And it's just like, yeah.
People like Sony Pictures Animation.
Sony Pictures Animation. Yeah, Mitchell's versus the Machine, I heard, is very good. Outside of Spider-Verse,
it is.
I heard that's very good. I heard it. Yeah. But when it comes to like the Emoji Movie, and then when you start to also consider the fact that like Sony actually didn't know if Spider-Verse was going to be a hit. They actually had no faith in it. And then all of a sudden they're more involved than they were before.
Yeah.
Which is like, yup.
And wasn't the first one kind of coming out between like the Marvel Spider-Man stuff?
Yeah. So it came out after Homecoming, before Far From Home. So it came out in 2018.
So it was really one of those things where it was kind of like, fuck it, we're just gonna do this. Just
Yeah.
fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like studios kind of like doing shit like this, like Sony Animation. You're right about them not having a good track record. I wouldn't say something very blasphemous here that's going to hurt Xavier's feelings, but I feel the same about Blue Sky. Like, the only thing they're known for is like the Ice Age shit. That's really it.
Hey, they made the Peanuts movie. They made the fuck. I love Rio.
It was
what do you have against the Peanuts movie?
It was boring.
What do you have against the Peanuts movie? It was boring.
Now, to be honest, though,
have you ever read a Peanuts comic?
I have, and it's boring. I'm going to stick with my guns. The Peanuts is just a boring thing. Anyways, though, my point though is like, if the fucking Fox version, all that shit didn't happen, it's like Blue Sky could have had their kind of Spider-Verse moment with the Nimona. If Blue Sky did get shut down,
they could have had Nimona. You know?
Yeah. So it's like a lot of studios can just kind of pull out of nowhere a really good fucking like movie.
Sometimes they pull shit out of their ass. Yeah, they could have a bad track record and pull shit out of their ass. I think.
Yeah, like modern Pixar having Soul.
I think personally, the idea that Spider-Verse is the way that it is right now. I wouldn't be mad if it just ended. Like, they just don't do it. They just don't do another one. I wouldn't be upset. Yeah. I'd be like... it's just like they fell into the trap. They fell into that Where's Waldo of Spider-Man trap. Right?
Yeah.
Which is just like, fine. The other thing... has anybody seen My Adventures with Superman?
I have not seen it. Not yet.
I haven't, unfortunately. It looks amazing. I've just been pretty busy, so I haven't had the time to check it out. But like, man, it looks great.
It does. They've got Chris Parnell voicing Deathstroke in the show.
Oh wow.
Chris who?
Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Jerry from... Oh my god, I love Rick and Morty!
Yeah, Jerry, the guy who voices Jerry from Rick and Morty, plays Slade Wilson.
Yeah, that's fucking
I think they should have used Will Arnett.
Yeah, I mean, they even, they do a lot of cool shit. Like, they do a lot of, like, anime stuff with Superman, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've seen the Magical Girl transformation. That was super neat.
Yeah. The Magic Girl transformation, and then he fucking Super Saiyans up in this show too.
But it looks anime as fuck. I don't know if I'm gonna fuck with it because I'm not a fan of anime, but you know, if it's still good, I'll still like it.
I'm not either, but like,
visual. Yeah, they take visual cues from like shit like that, but it's very much an animated. The like story is still
animated, like it's done like a Western animated, but it just takes animation cues from like a Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's something like Teen Titans from 2003.
Yes.
Yeah, or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay, so I might fuck with it then. It's a good mixture of two worlds. Okay, I might fuck with it.
Why hasn't Marvel done a more anime show?
I keep pitching it. I keep saying, like, wouldn't it be cool?
I mean, there was Disc Wars, but no one talks about Disc Wars.
Nobody talks about Disc Wars or
that. It was animated like shit.
Or what was that other one? Avengers Tomorrow, Heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
Heroes of Tomorrow. Also, they made an X-Men anime. It was pretty good. It had Hammer Frost.
The X-Men anime is really good. The people who were in charge of Marvel Entertainment did not know how to use the Avengers, and you can tell.
I will say, Anime Janet, though, was, like, really hot. Like...
Yeah. An Avengers anime would have been really cool. Like, they should have done cooler things with an Avengers anime. I don't think that the Avengers really lend themselves. I think a more Ghost in the Shell, like if they were to do something like Ultron for like an anime, that would be really cool, but that's...
Right now I'm imagining Rage of Ultron done by... Now I'm imagining like Rage of Ultron in the style of Ghost in the Shell.
That would
Oh
have
my
been cool.
god! Okay, so the only anime that I've really fucked with is Ghost in the Shell. Oh my god, I would fuck with that so hard. Also, I just
No,
casually bring up the fucking Discord Janet. Just casually drag that over in the middle of this.
Like, just want to say, I am a little bit more interested in anime, to be honest, and manga. I'm not really a fan of it, but I like some Ghibli movies. I'm a huge Mamoru Hosoda fan. Still need to see his newest film. What was another thing? I also, currently just buy every once in a while some manga because it's pretty good sometimes, you know?
So, we're on the topic of shows and stuff, so let's segue on over to Secret Invasion, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't
Second
had
best
time.
Marvel show of the year.
I've heard good things. I haven't seen it yet. I'm okay with spoilers. I don't know if you want to do spoilers, but
I'll do spoilers.
because
I
like I already
haven't seen
know the big one from the first episode. Like Twitter immediately spoiled that shit for me the minute I went on my timeline. I was like, oh, Maria Hill's dead. Okay, good to know.
Just to be honest, I've been not using social media at all every time a new episode of a show comes out. Of a show I'm really interested in. Like, for example, Hell of a Boss. I am not seeing what everyone is thinking about the new episode.
Yeah, I usually don't pay attention.
Because,
what are y'all's thoughts on like the first two episodes? Because I don't think we've talked about either episode since we haven't done this in a little bit.
All right, I'm so glad you asked. So, the other two episodes, I think this show has a meaningful. I had this talk with Noobish here. We discussed the motivation. I just want to get everybody's thoughts on the motivation, starting with Xavier. Xavier, how do you feel about the motivation of the Skrulls in this show?
I feel like the motivation of the Skrulls is relatively understandable if you're just talking about the refugees ones. Like, they just want to live in a place where they want to be not hunted, not discriminated. They just want to be there. And kind of the terrorist one, the villain one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like, in a way, I also, like, I don't really agree with his intentions, but also I'd love to see if the show will make him more ambiguous instead of just, oh my god, he's evil dude because he's threatening the status quo. Like, I want something more mature out of a spy show, you know?
Yeah. What about you, Vlad? What do you think?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure what's going on at all with the show. I need to watch it. I just have not had time.
Okay, so I agree. I feel like a lot of the things that are coming out about this show, a lot of people tend to forget what the original Secret Invasion is, right? Their homeworld was blown up and they were promised a new one, and then they just decided Earth is the new one. That's really what it is. Like, the Skrulls were doing the same thing in the comic. They were, and the only difference is that they were never allied. Like, a handful of them worked with humans. And I say a handful, but I really mean like max, like 2 or 3 of them worked with humans, and they weren't so bad. Like, I think Elijah is the only Skrull that I can really point to and be like, she's a good person. Right.
Yeah.
And
2 or 3? You mean like the ones that Reed Richards turned into cows?
And Hulkling. Hulkling is another one that was. Hulkling's
a pretty cool dude.
He was another Skrull that worked with everybody, but now this show is going to be doing Super Skrulls. That's another thing that I think that a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people on
Super
Twitter.
Scrolls is cool. Yeah, Super Scroll is like really cool.
What were you saying, Vlad?
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about how they're very upset that a Fantastic Four villain is being bastardized by the MCU.
Okay, people tend to forget there's more than just one Super Skrull.
Wait, there is?
There's plenty.
Yeah.
Xavier,
Yeah,
in the
like
story, in Secret Invasion, every operative that was embedded into the superhuman community, they were all Super Skrulls.
Oh wow.
So the Hank Pym Skrull was a Super Skrull. The Captain
Oh.
America Skrull was a Super Skrull. Right?
Yeah.
Those were Super Skrulls. Hybok is a Super Skrull. Tyrannus is a Super Skrull. There's other Super Skrulls.
Yeah,
They
it's
just
just not like one singular Super Scroll.
Yeah, so when they see Super Skrull, they think, oh, it's the one with all the They think of Kalert. Kalert is the one with all the Fantastic Four's powers. Right? Because, again, they're very performative Fantastic Four fans out there.
Yeah, it's like they claim that they've read other Marvel stuff, and yet it's like the only thing they seem to understand is Fantastic Four, and they barely understand that at best. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not hating on them for it. If Vlad isn't either, Vlad is just trying to say, like, you know, in regards
I think they need to read more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's just saying he needs to read more. I'm saying I know that there's more than just Kalert, who's a Super Skrull, and they make that very clear. In other Marvel events, Empire is one of them where they're like, no, there's dozens of Super Skrulls. And what they're saying in the show as to how a Super Skrull's created, that's pretty much how they go on about it, yeah. There's no bastardization of Kalert. Kalert doesn't show up in the show. He's never named in the show. There's no Kalert. It's Gravik and a Skrull cell. That's what it is.
I mean, it's like if people were getting upset at the Black Panther movie because it didn't have the Fantastic Four. It's like, okay, just because this character showed up in a fucking Fantastic Four book for the first time doesn't mean diddly shit. Like,
yeah.
You can't just judge shit based on the fact that it showed up in your favorite fucking book, and we're not jerking that off.
Black Panther and Reed Richards are T'Challa and Reed are basically brothers to each other.
Yeah, like, if we're gonna go there, it's just like, well, Earth 1610 in the Spider-Verse is not Earth 1610 because Peter Parker's blonde in that. You see what I'm saying? Right, that's like, okay, well, I actually love the alternate universe. But with the Super Skrull thing, that's something that I think is just... I think that point that they try to make with that is ass. Like, I feel like a lot of complaints love that the show are super unfair. I watched it with Kurt and a few other people. Kurt did bring up a good point. The slow pacing is wonky, and the Skrull's motivation is a little weird, but almost understandable. But it kind of makes Nick Fury and, by extension, Captain Marvel seem like shitty characters. Because neither one of them was really out looking for a home for him.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, oh, well, I guess... You know. What's up?
That's kind of like the point of superheroes. Superheroes are... in my opinion, superheroes are interesting of a genre. Especially because they have kind of a complicated relationship with the world's status quo. Like, they're so powerful in some ways. They're literally almost gods in some areas, but they can't fix the world. They can't fix the world's issues. And that's kind of the question that good superhero books tend to, not like necessarily answer or give a definitive answer to, but like at least address. Like, that's the interesting one. That's the interesting part of some superhero books.
Yeah. I think
I hear you.
You go, sorry.
I hear you. I think with Secret Invasion though, it really just makes Nick Fury and Captain Marvel seem like we weren't really concerned with your plight because year after year after year we were constantly dealing with shit blowing up. So our bad, right?
Yeah.
But the Skrulls do make a good point where it's just like, okay, but we want a home. That's all we wanted, and we're supposed to like hide. We're supposed to hide who we really are, just so we can make you guys comfortable. Yeah, because it's our house. Okay, accommodating hosts notwithstanding, this is going to be our house now because you guys seem to like forget that we're here,
Yeah.
right?
That's,
and it's just,
that's a genuinely interesting conflict.
yeah, that's an interesting conflict. Gravik is not. He's black and white, right? He's doing what's right by his people, which makes it seem like he is most clearly the villain. And for guys like that, I'm like, yep, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. And they keep saying like Nick Fury has like a personal relationship with Gravik, and I'm out here saying like, yep, Nick raised Gravik. They're gonna do the whole like Nick Fury raised Gravik and Gravik. I don't know if you know this, but like there's a story where like Nick Fury had to like kill his own brother.
Oh wow.
Right, and they're just probably gonna do that here.
That'll be
You
interesting.
know, I feel like this Nick Fury is like the best writing we've had for MCU Nick Fury.
Agreed.
Like, yeah, like it's so Bendis. Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
I love what he
Like,
says. Like, I
this-
think you go, Vlad.
Where's Xavier?
Oh, you go.
Like, that's the kind of characterization of Nick Fury that I liked from Secret War. Just, hey guys, I'm gonna do war crimes because that's morally right. You know?
Oh
And, like,
god.
Yeah, well, it's like this is the only way I can really fix this, and that's the best way. That's the best way he knows how to fix it.
Oh.
You know?
boy.
That's what makes it so cool in this show. I love the idea that like there's a line of dialogue where Rhodey fires him, and don't worry, I'm gonna get to that here in a minute. Rhodey fires him, right? And he's just like, just because you think you've released me of my, you relinquished my title, I relinquished my DNA. And then he breaks the Secret Service guy's arm and walks off, and he's just like, Rhodey's just like, and you wonder why you're out, and he's like, I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in. Like, that's a bar.
Fucking based.
That's a bar.
Yeah. Now I get why Nick Fury is one of your favorite characters.
I love that guy. And then the best part was when so Vlad, Rhodey's a Skrull.
Fucking awesome!
Wait, Rhodey's a fucking Skrull?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a newsflash for me.
I predicted that! I've always wanted that from the Secret Invasion show! Yahoo!
My problem with that is that it's such a Twitter idea, because I guess that everybody was like, Rhodey's a Skrull because Terrence Howard's the real Rhodey. Oh my god. Without realizing why that's
they
not
changed the actor.
You know where it originated, this idea?
What?
From Nando V Movies!
Who?
Nando V Movies! You don't know Nando V Movies?
I know who he is, yeah. Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah. Nando. The dude.
I don't like that shit. I don't like the
You
idea
don't
that
like
Rhodey's a... No, I like Nando. He actually has some good takes. Even though I'm like, I don't really care about what he says about X-Men half the time. I could tell he really likes the X-Men. I could tell he really cares. But I'm like, right.
I disagree with his X-Men takes every once in a while, but like, yeah, generally it's pretty solid. It comes from a place of love, and it has takes. You can agree or disagree with them, but they're takes.
And the fact that he even is on board for this show, like, it's a spy thriller. It's supposed to be slow. It's supposed to be. It's a spy thriller. We have to get this shit going, right? This is the thing that people were asking for from the MCU. They were like, well, why can't we get something more personal? Okay, well, here's something more personal. Oh, well, It should have been an Avengers movie.
Yeah, because the original one had Avengers, and they removed the Avengers. They don't know the comic books at all. What are they fucking doing?
But like, they made a completely different story from this.
Secret and weirdly enough, both the show and the comic have a lot of similarities. Both of them are almost
like
beat for beat.
Oh, they are?
Wait, really?
They're almost. So, the thing with the original Secret Invasion is that Iron Man, you have to deal with the status quo thing. Like, the status quo thing is pretty much not the same.
Iron Man being a war criminal?
No, Iron Man wasn't a war criminal. Iron Man was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time.
Yeah.
Was this after Civil War?
Yeah, Secret Invasion takes place after Civil War. Actually, Secret Invasion is the impetus behind... Not the impetus, but it's the inciting incident that leads into Dark Reign.
Yay! I love Dark Reign! Utopia is awesome!
So the Skrulls in that one, their planet Skrullos was eaten by Galactus, right? But they went to this religious zealot named Veronke. Veronke pretty much gathered the Skrulls, and they pretty much managed to replicate human powers and the like based off of old Skrull experiments. They infiltrated Earth with operatives for years. Some of them were like there ever since like the late 90s, early 2000s. Right? Some of them were there for a really long time. They even said like some of them were around in the 70s.
So they were like... now I imagine like Skrulls with big, wigs and like dancing disco.
Some of them were around for a while, right? Some of them managed to infiltrate certain people for a long time. And nobody noticed, but because it's the Marvel Universe, it is what it is. But the Skrulls enacted their plan, and they started blowing shit up left, right, and center. They let Skrull ships. The best one-to-one is Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Ooh,
Earth's Mightiest Heroes is the best depiction of the event. Like, that's the best adaptation of how it went down.
It's the best depiction of the Marvel Universe in general.
Yeah, and that event specifically was how it really went down, with the exception of Steve Rogers, because he was dead at the time. Right, Steve wasn't there. But, more or less, Secret Invasion was an Avengers story. You can argue that, yes. Right.
Weren't like a lot of 2000s Marvel events Avengers stories?
Most Marvel events are Avengers stories.
I'd argue a couple of them aren't.
Yeah. Well, like which ones?
Like King in Black or...
King in Black is most definitely not. That's a Venom story. We all can agree. Venom is the main character. But what was the other one?
Outside of events specifically tied to the X-Men side of the universe, like Messiah Complex, Utopia, mutants, whatever.
I love when people bring those up because like those are still. That's like saying pre-Skrull War is an event.
Technically, Utopia had tie-ins.
Utopia had tie-ins, but only with X books. If it's just singular to that book, I don't really seem to think it's very hard to call it an event, right? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't call it a universe-wide event, but
it's
like Devil's Reign.
It's contained to the X-Men.
Yeah, it's if it's self-contained, not much of an event, because then by that logic, Operation Galactic Storm is an event, or it's just like when it's not real, it's not an event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign was an event.
Devil's Reign was an event where Daredevil was like front and center. Yeah, forgettable.
It's not.
Everybody seems to forget Devil's Reign because it's Chip Zdarsky. But
Devil's Reign was pretty good. It had its moments.
it had its moments, but then it just started like going on. It started teeter-totter. It started saying dumb shit every so often. Like Empire was great. Empire was fun. Avengers, Fantastic Four.
I haven't read Empire.
That's where the Thing gets his kids.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's where the Thing gets his kids. But the Avengers were front and center. Acts of Vengeance. The Avengers were front and center, even though it was a Marvel Universe-wide event. The Avengers' main villain, Loki, was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you villains to switch good guys. That's what we're doing."
Ooh.
So Loki facilitated a giant fucking war against heroes and villains on Earth, right?
You think War of the Realms could be classified as an event where the Avengers are main characters? Haven't read that one.
Yes. Yeah, they very much are, yeah.
I would, yeah, because I've kind of read some War of the Realms, and are the Avengers really front and center? Because that feels more of like an Asgard thing, front and center.
No, because Aaron was writing Avengers at the time, and that was they were front and center.
Okay, because the stuff that I've seen, I haven't seen too much of it, so just what I'm familiar with looks like it.
Speaking of Jason Aaron, can I ask something about Jason Aaron?
What's up?
How the fuck he didn't write both Avengers and Once Upon a Time at the End of the World? How? He wrote both of these books. Like, seriously, how he wrote a so bad it's good Saturday morning cartoon and a genuine masterpiece? How?
Yeah.
I think with his Avengers, it lacked a lot of. It just was. It wasn't about the Avengers. With his book, his book wasn't about the Avengers. It was about the scope of things, and that's the thing that I think really was like. Everybody was like, "Yeah, now you've made it impersonal." Where that's the entire point of the Avengers. With a Justice League story, that shit
was good.
Yeah,
that's what Jen McCain was great.
With a Justice League story, that shit flies because guess what? That's the point of that story. It's the scope, right? Because you can't get Superman, the Flash, and Green Lantern in the same room, right? Well, if they're all in the same room, any sort of problem seems kind of like easily handled, though, right? And it's like, yeah, but that's why you have to make it like Darkseid, Brainiac. It's got to be like the Legion of Doom. It's got to be like shit like that, where the villain's got to take center stage. And those types of stories. With the Avengers stories, it's all about like how are Ant-Man and Thor going to get along? How is that going to work?
Yeah.
How can Hawkeye and Iron Man relate?
Yeah, that's always how it's been to me, and that's kind of my problem with Aaron's Avengers, was that you didn't really have too much introspective on the characters between each other. It was just, here's this really outlandish thing going on. Like, yeah,
here's the all weapon with the all rider, and by the way, we have the all celestial with the Phoenix gods. Yeah, Thor's mom is a phoenix, and everybody seems to ignore that. They're like, no.
Oh yeah, and Mjolnir's made out of moon rock.
Mjolnir's made out of fucking moon rock, so Khonshu has complete autonomy over the Mjolnir, and it's just like, no, he doesn't.
Oh god.
Where it's just like what's up?
How does Moon Knight relate to the moon? Khonshu is like Khonshu. I don't want to say Khonshu is like not a god. It's obviously Mark's insane psyche, but like, how they made him like this? Like, why?
Oh no!
Because he's Moon Knight. He's the Moon Knight.
So
yeah, Moon Knight.
That's a lot. Somebody brought this up, and they brought up a very good point with Moon Knight. I think the point was that Khonshu is no longer like people don't question whether or not Khonshu existed anymore. Like, yeah, he could or he couldn't. There's no way. Nobody else has heard of him, right? And then all of a sudden, Age of Khonshu happens, and then it's just like, oh, yeah, that kind of ruined Moon Knight. No, yeah, I get it. Now it's just like it's no longer a question; it is real. It's like,
have you read Jed McKay's Moon Knight? Because I feel like that addresses a lot.
I'm going to get to it because I've read Shirley Houston's Moon Knight, and I was like, people are just mad that the show isn't Shirley Houston, right?
Yeah.
And then I read it, and I was just like, yep, kind of feel like that's still the case. They're just mad that it isn't white Batman.
Yep.
How was it?
It's okay. It has some glaring issues. It's very much product of its time with like the 2000s writing. Some moments come across comedic, even though they're not supposed to. But yeah.
Huh.
I always seem to remember that it's like, this is Marvel Knights era. The other thing about Secret Invasion that I just want to get back to right before we move on is that this show really has a strong understanding of its characters, and every time it uses one, it just keeps feeling like they keep doing something interesting, and this really feels like it's going to lead into the Marvels here in November.
Yeah.
Because Nick is on the fringes, like man's back is against the wall, sort of thing, and you get to see like the moral ambiguity of what he has to do the right thing. Like he's holding kids at gunpoint for this show. He's like, nobody calls me Nick.
Speaking of the Marvels, this reminds me of Nando V Movies' video on who should direct the MCU X-Men. So, who do you think should direct MCU X-Men?
I don't really have a short list, but I do have an idea where the X-Men should go in terms of the MCU. I don't think that they should make them a nation.
Yeah.
They should make them?
I think that they shouldn't make them a nation.
A nation?
Like, they shouldn't have a nation of mutants, I think is what he's trying to say.
Oh. To be honest, yeah, Krakoa. Starting on Krakoa, that'd be cringe. Like, I love the Krakoa era. Like, when handled right, it's super interesting. Like, by Ayala, by Hickman, by Ewing, by Wells, by all those great writers, and Zeb Wells. You know, it's super cool. It's super interesting. But, like, I don't think, like, it'd be a good introduction for a movie.
No, it definitely wouldn't.
Also, I'd love to see other stories as movies. You know, I'd love to see Astonishing. I'd love to see New X-Men. I'd love to see fucking All New. I'd love to see Messiah Complex, Genosha. Seriously, there are so many short stories that could be incredible films. Like, imagine, guys.
I want to see Kate Pryde just drop the N-bomb. That's all I want to see.
Oh god. Yep. I think that's all.
They should have Kitty Pryde played by Doja Cat.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Just back to back to back to back to back.
Just non-stop N-bombs. Oh god.
Yeah. Or they should
Don't give them ideas.
Don't give them. I think with X-Men, it's easier said than done. I do think that they should play off of the Utopia era. They should play up that. But, like, they should take elements of it, which is like, yeah, the reason why you haven't seen mutants in the MCU is because most of them are they're going extinct. They're not extinct, but they're on the cusp of that point. They're at the cusp, but they're at that point where it's just like it might happen.
To me,
I feel like
is trying to explain where they've been. That's going to be the biggest problem, I
Mutants
think,
that
for them.
just. So I've heard that like Matthew Rosenberg's run explained that like the X-Men have been mind wiped from the memory of the world by like a telepath. I think Emma Frost. I like that idea. They should use that. Just say that.
I mean,
Well, yeah, you go, Vlad.
it's like I think the biggest problem with like a lot of this is Marvel's kind of fault because they sold all their fucking IPs to different studios back in like the late 90s.
At the time they were bankrupt.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's their fault though that they did that because now it's biting them in the foot with this trying to do all this after they bought Fox out like a couple years ago, and they're like 10 years into the MCU. It's like, well, fuck, how are we going to make mutants fit into this? How are we going to make the Fantastic Four fit into this? It's going to be like that kind of problem where I think the Fantastic Four works a lot easier to fit in. Like, they could just magically fucking appear, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, here's these fucking explorers that just like, come out of nowhere. But, like, the X-Men, it's like, you need to make sure, like, the writing isn't fucking trash and dumb, and just be like, yeah, they've been here. Like, mutants have always been here. We just never talk about it.
Like I said, they should make an MCU animated series to just explain everything.
Yeah.
I do think that this is the way that I would explain the X-Men, right? The X-Men were a team in the 90s, right? Led by the former director of S.H.I.E.L.D., James Logan Howlett.
Huh.
Okay.
Right? Xavier managed to poach him and his first student, Aurora Monroe.
I see.
Right? And the Frost is Xavier's boo thing.
No,
right.
That's Tony's boo thing. No, just kidding.
Emma Frost is Charles Xavier's boo thing.
Boo Fang? Boo thing?
It's his side hoe.
What?
It's his side hoe.
I get it now.
Yeah, after he just like broke up with Moira McTaggart.
And Lilandra?
Not, he hasn't met her yet.
Man, Charles Xavier gets bitches.
So
literally, be real.
Coming to the early 2000s, they pretty much started a strong base. Like 2003 MCU, they pretty much recruited Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. Right?
Beast?
Yeah.
Those were like the first class, right? And that was like his X-Men. So it's like Professor X, Wolverine, Storm, Emma Frost, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel, Beast. So there's like 9 of them, right? By that point in time, the X-Men were like running around doing their things, but then something happened to where Xavier was killed. Right? In a battle with Magneto in 2005. Fast forward to present day MCU, Cyclops, they pretty much, the X-Men were discontinued. They pretty much they went their own way. And then Cyclops gathers the X-Men again by being like, okay, well, this whole race is on here and nobody ever talks about us because we're on the verge of extinction. Right? It's a novelty to see a mutant.
Yeah.
That's why I would make that parallel so special. I would be like, yeah, you don't see them very much, and that's why it's so special when you do see one. Because they really do stand out sometimes. Like the Morlocks exist. And then in Matthew Rosen, I would take the idea of Matthew Rosenberg calling every mutant to be like, hey, I'm starting a new, like, I'd have Cyclops be like, we're starting a new X-Men. Logan and Storm answer the call. Right? Storm is somewhere in, like, her 30, no. Yeah, Storm is young. Let me just say that. She's not as young as she used to be. She's young. Logan is what he looks like all the time. And then you get guys like Nightcrawler popping up, Colossus popping up, Kitty Pryde.
Wait, Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
The Go Nightcrawler?
Some of the X-Men actually retired. Like, Beast is a research assistant. He's not blue.
I don't know about that.
I personally don't like the idea of Beast not being the same age as Wonder Man. Because...
No, he's not blue, he's gray.
Wait, what?
He's gray.
Yeah, Beast was gray once.
I didn't know that. I've always thought of him as being blue. Okay.
Yeah,
me too. I just found out kind of recently that he was blue.
He was blue, but now he's gray due to his old age. So he's gray now.
It's like, is it the same thing with like classic Spider-Man where the blue was actually because they couldn't afford black ink, and then it just stuck?
So you're talking? Yeah. Are you talking about Spider-Man 2099?
No, I'm talking about the classic, like OG Spider-Man when he first appeared. Everyone like saw the blue in his costume is because they couldn't afford black ink to do the shadows. So his costume appeared blue at times when it was actually red and black.
So why it has happened twice with Spider-Man?
I don't know.
So Beast, like other X-Men would appear, but they're dealing with the U-Men now. The U-Men are poaching the U-Men.
Who are the U-Men?
The U-Men are...
Basically...
You go, Xavier. You can explain it. You're the X-Men guy.
So, the U-Men are basically incels who take parts of mutants' bodies to enhance themselves. Because they hate mutants, but they love their powers and they want to have them. So they basically just take mutants' body parts. The weird is... The funny thing, it's not even the weirdest thing in Morrison's run.
I would have them, and they pretty much start like a new subspecies called Homo adaptus, because it's Homo sapiens, Homo superior, and then Homo adaptus.
That's not really how scientific naming works, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing with X-Men and the Homo superior thing. I just want to say that someone who likes evolution and like paleontology, it's bullshit. The species name is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I remember when they used to call it Homo sapiens superior. I was just like, so.
I mean, it's like you can't just you can't take a dog, cut his fucking legs off, surgically implant horse legs, and call it a new animal. That's not how this fucking works. You're still a fucking dog. You've just been. Oh my god.
So Homo adaptus. Yeah. So they're trying to start a new subspecies called Homo adaptus, and they're pretty much are cutting parts of mutants' powers out of their body to form into their body, so that way they can fight the mutant threat, more productively, right? And they're working with a man named Nathaniel Essex.
Ooh! Best X-Men villain outside of Magneto.
His crew, by the way, features the Marauders, the '80s Marauders, like Vertigo,
Sabretooth,
Arclight, Sabretooth, Gambit. Like that's his crew.
Based.
Right.
Love this idea.
And because mutants are in a place of disarray, it made it so much easier for the U-Men to actually like step up and be like, okay, yeah, no, now we're cutting these mutants up and shit. So where the X-Men have to get involved and fight the U-Men and the Marauders.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my plot. That's the idea.
That's a really cool pitch. And this reminds me of my director idea. Like my director start of discourse.
Yeah.
This reminds me that when I first thought of what could be the best director for an X-Men movie, my mind jumped immediately to like Jordan Peele, because it's like, especially if you're gonna adapt the Morrison run and era, I feel like his style would match more with those comics. But like, I think Jordan said that he doesn't want to do works that aren't his, so that's off the table, I think.
Yeah. I honestly don't really like to throw in my I don't really know too many directors, honestly, so it's like I don't really care about trying to come up with who the director should be for stuff. So to me, it's just like whichever director just handles it the best. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like my main thing is I don't like directors that are also writers. To me, that's just like I just think that's dumb. So I'd preferably want a
I
director.
feel like if someone is good at two things, why they shouldn't do those two things? Like, I mean,
it's like there's sometimes it works, but it's like sometimes too. It's like I feel like it's more creative talent to bring in a writing team and have the director and the writers kind of work together on like the writing process instead of it all just being one person. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying it's bad to have just a director direct and write. Like, it works. Like, there's directors that can do that. It's just sometimes I don't think that should be the standard. I think that, like, such as something like a superhero movie, I feel you want more creativity and a lot more input on the writing. That's just how I feel.
Hey, speaking of directors, I just want to say my pitch for an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Gambit movie directed by Guy Ritchie.
God.
You've all seen a movie by Guy Ritchie?
I have.
Yeah.
What movie?
Oh, God.
MCU Man?
Oh, I've seen Sherlock Holmes.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, that's the one that
I highly recommend you check out Operation Fortune, Bruce Duggar. That movie is exquisite. Such a good heist movie.
So let's kind of move on over. What other comics have y'all been reading? I guess MCU Man.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad you asked me. Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, the new one that came out?
Yeah.
How is it?
Weirdly enough, I got this one for free, I put in quotes.
Uh-huh, he stole it.
No! I got it from the Marvel Insider thing, which, Vlada, if you do have some points, you can go on to Marvel Insider, and they have the first issue of New Avengers and Incredible Hulk ready for as a prize. You can just go and get it. Yeah. So
Really?
Yeah. First of all, I want to just say the art in this book is just beautiful. This book does not disappoint. Right? Secondly, I also want to point out that Hulk is in a completely different place, and they bring up the shit that happens to him in Donny Cates' run. But then,
I noticed.
Then they go right back to the Al Ewing stuff, which I'm going to be honest is more interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Al Ewing just made me a Hulk fan, you know?
And I love how Philip Kennedy Johnson goes out of his way to reiterate what Donny Cates and Al Ewing has, where he's just like, the Hulk is done playing Avenger. He just wants to be left alone. He's not what he's not what he was. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. The Hulk is, if you get in his way, he'll fucking break you.
That is interesting.
The coolest thing about this.
Yeah, you go MCU, man.
The coolest thing about this is that everybody's after the Hulk. The cops, but mainly the supernatural beings, because they're saying the green door is shut. I have not finished Immortal Hulk. Best believe I do plan on it. But the green door is shut means, like, when they were like, yeah, the green door is open. No, it's shut. It's meaning, like, yo, every creature of the night wants the Hulk. Like, skinwalkers are coming after the Hulk.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, these things.
Oh, my God.
Yo, they even teased there might be a mix-up with him and the Man Thing.
Oh, wow.
Ghost Rider might get involved. Yeah. Ghost Rider might get involved. Like, these creatures of the night want to fuck with the Hulk, and they're like, "Yeah, we got that ping, baby. We can fuck with you." And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna." And then the Hulk's like, "I'm gonna fuck with you today, bro. Let's go." And he just starts like swinging. He's like, "Hold my dick, bitch." Punches out other shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, this book has been incredible, and I just want to say Philip Kennedy Johnson is becoming quickly one of my favorite writers currently working in the industry.
Immortal Hulk is Incredible Hulk. I'm glad they're going back to Incredible. By the way, I missed when he was called the Incredible Hulk. And there, like, we also get like a subplot story where it's going to be like a new like human tag-along girl coming around, and you can tell like the Hulk is pissed because of what Bruce Banner did to him in Donny Cates's run. For Vlad, Bruce Banner suppressed the Hulk. He suppressed the Hulk's personality within his own body, and then put his mind in the Hulk's body and piloted the Hulk like a spaceship.
It's cool. It's the action is amazing. I remember the action being amazing, and I'm sorry that Donny Cates had to end this because of personal life. I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I hope he's getting. I hope he'll get better.
Same. And the idea of like a new Hulk book is just incredible. Like you could tell the Avengers, any book under the Avengers umbrella is really enjoying some things right now.
Yeah.
Like the Captain America book is ending, and it's getting JMS on the book, and we're also getting we're also Sam is just going to be running around with the Avengers as it looks like.
Yep.
Like
Captain Marvel is gonna get a new relaunch book, even though the Kelly Thompson one has been like the best Avengers solo book ever.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk book is coming out, and they're like, it looks like this one is going to be really good.
Yeah.
You know, this one has a lot going for it. I even love the art. Nick Klein does not disappoint with this. He makes shit creepy. They start talking about eating people's like entrails. It's fucked up.
Huh.
My God, Nick Klein is so good. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Oh, chef's
Now,
kiss.
would I like to see the Hulk as an Avenger again? Maybe when I'm like, maybe in a few years they might actually do it again. It might be nice just to be like, yeah, the Hulk's an Avenger.
Yeah.
Because like they don't really, they seem to be going back to like the '90s status quo. It's like the Hulk runs around by himself. Okay.
Yeah.
You mean 90s status quo in general, or 90s status quo just for the Hulk?
No, for the Hulk, because right now we're not in '90s status quo with anybody else, and '90s status quo for the Hulk works, which is that guy.
There you go.
The X-Men are in a way cooler status quo that was in the 90s, and Spider-Man is in a way worse status quo than he is in the 90s. Kind of funny.
Yeah. And Janet's not a fucking monster wasp human thing, so...
Yeah, now she gets her own Avengers book. Let's go.
I know, I'm excited. I'm tired of people like saying, this is gonna be bad. Like, shut the fuck up.
I'm so excited for
Avengers Inc. is gonna slap, guys.
Yeah, yo, Al Ewing is on the case, bro. Literal.
Al Ewing wrote the best X-Men book of the fucking decade.
Yo,
I'm
Vlad,
99% certain Avengers Inc. is gonna fucking follow up with what happened in Wasp. Like, I'm 90% certain that that's gonna follow up. Because, like, it looks like it's gonna be, like, a fucking murder mystery, and the fucking Wasp book ended on a murder, so...
You know that you're gonna get me even more excited by just saying it's a murder mystery, right?
Yeah.
I also think that this, because they keep teasing Ultron for this book, I'm like, is Hank back? Are you bringing back Hank, Al? If you are, let's go.
If they're gonna bring Hank Pym back, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what we're gonna do?
What?
Celebratory comic cast, baby!
Yeah, dude, it's going down. We're just gonna go, oh my god, we're coming in here, we're just be like, yo, Hank's back. Everybody shut shit the fuck down.
Exactly, he's back.
Yep.
Now it'll be interesting because like is Hank like stuck in Ultron's body? Like what the fuck is going on?
Oh no, he's not in there anymore.
He's not in there anymore. He was free. Okay.
He was freed. Yeah. He became a god, but then he didn't free himself, and then the new Ant-Man got him with like some sort of time gun.
Yeah.
And it pretty much went through Ultron's history and just deleted him. But he's back, right? And it's not Hank because Ultron Pym is what he called himself. Even though there's been another Ultron that called himself. Thanks, Dan Slott.
Dan Slott, you fucking asshole.
Hey, I like Dan Slott.
Dan Slott's the GOAT right now for what he just did in what he just did in Spider-Man issue 10. He just did the sneakiest thing. He took this trucker's car, right? By the way, I haven't read it. I just saw somebody talk about it. And it makes me want to pick up his Spider-Man book even more. Even though it's a Spider-Man book. But what happened was...
To be honest, it sounds amazing just because of how wacky it is. So
yeah. He picks up a radio, and then he's like, hey, you don't have the right to do that. And then Peter turns around and says, my Avengers ID gives me the right.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, yes!
Fucking balls.
I was like...
That's why Dan Slott is the greatest Spider-Man writer to ever walk the earth. I don't believe that, guys. I don't believe that.
And then what he does is the greatest thing. He just makes references, like he starts going like Alpha, Sierra, Mango.
How's a kid Mango?
No, Alpha Sierra. It's code.
Oh,
like
Alpha Sierra
Tango,
Mike.
Alpha Sierra Mike. Alpha Sierra Mike ASM. What was Alpha Foxtrot 1-5
Oh wow!
Amazing Fantasy 15. I was just like, you sneaky bitch. Yeah,
that is funny.
I was like,
I'm gonna read
this now.
Yeah, Dan Slott is all of us. Dan Slott is a nerd that made it. Now, his writing is questionable? Yes. He doesn't know how to write women? Yes. His books can get very subjective in terms of liking? Also yes. But I can deny it, that he's a nerd that made it.
Yep. And I know that sounds kind of shallow, where it's just like, oh, you only want to read that because it's just like, there's an Avengers reference. And it's just like, I mean, yes and no, but I really want to read it because it's just like, I'm so tired of the main Amazing Spider-Man book.
Yeah.
Just fucking up every time. So, and I kind of miss Spider-Man. So that's why I want to read it.
Yeah, it's like...
Me too!
Kind of going back to Avengers Inc. real quick, it's like... If what I'm thinking is happening, and this is just me kind of thinking here, that's not a good idea, but like... So, did Ultron fucking murder Whirlwind? Is that...
Yes!
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because remember, Ultron wants to also bang Janet. He's just like...
I know!
He just put his fucking...
Literally, for real!
It's just Ultron out here eliminating competitors, bro. That's all he's doing.
But fucking Whirlwind was already in a jail cell!
Yeah, but he couldn't risk him getting out. And being more competition, so he just...
I just want an answer. Should make a Janet Frank lab.
And it seems just to be Jan and Vision on this one. It's just like, I thought it was going to be her and Simon. Like, her and Simon have been getting along a lot lately.
Yeah. Simon may join
because Simon is fucking based.
It may happen because if this is going down the Ultron path, like, it better be an Avengers team with the Ultron extended family. So,
yep.
We got fucking Jocasta showing up. We got fucking Vision. We got Simon. We got Janet. Like, that's all we need. Simon, Janet, Jocasta, Vision. That's it. The fucking Ultron family.
Let's go.
We got Pietro. We got Wanda.
I would love that shit. I think the other thing, too, about just real quick about the Incredible Hulk is this is already a perfect start to a perfect series, and I'm glad that the Hulk book is coming back to prominence. Right, the Hulk deserves some love too.
Yeah.
Another book I've read. I've been going through Busick's Iron Man.
Based.
Classic you, MCU man.
His Iron Man, I'm coming to the end. His Iron Man has been nothing but what everybody thinks Tony Stark isn't.
Yeah.
His Iron Man is fucking great. I love everything that he does with Iron Man. Like, Stark Solutions is incredible. I think giving Happy Hogan more of a role in the book is great. The love interest in the book, Rumiko, is kind of lame. I don't care
wait,
about
does
her.
Tony get a fucking Asian twink?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah,
So
Tony
they do make Tony bisexual, fucking based.
Tony is not bisexual in this.
It was a joke. It is a joke, Xavier.
He just like Tony has like this new girlfriend thing. Her name is Rumiko, and Rumiko like really wants I want to bang Tony Stark, but I'm gonna play hard to get. And Tony's just like, that's great. I don't know if I really am made out for that, but okay. He's like, but I do like you. I want to hang out with you. And then like Pepper and Happy are like, we just divorced.
Wow.
Like I'm just imagining the scene, Tony and Rumiko talking. Just Happy Hogan goes in, slams the door, and it's like, we're just divorced, Tony.
Yep. And then
What the fuck, man? I was banging.
And then then Rhodey shows up in the book, and Rhodey's just like, yeah, I'm not War Machine. I don't want to be War Machine. And it's just like, Rhodey, how many times have you done this? Like, it's like, how many times?
Make the book sound like a bad soap opera, and now I'm interested.
Yeah, and then Rhodey's just like, yeah, I'm not War Machine, but I know who is War Machine, and it's just like, who is this guy named Darnell? And then Tony just like fucking murks Darnell and saves Joe Costa. And then Joe Costa becomes his computer AI.
Jesus Christ.
That's amazing. That's
oh, what's up?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah. And they also explained Sunset Bane, which she's just like this woman that's slightly older than Tony. Well, I say slightly. Tony keeps saying 5 years older. And they met in college. And she kept using Tony. And then kicked him to the curb when she felt like she got all the goods. And then Tony kept creating newer shit. So it's just like, it's that ex. It's that girl that really wants to. She's the ultimate gold digger. Tony dealt with a gold digger in Iron Man.
Is it the same woman that banged Tony when he was 15 in International Iron Man?
No.
Oh, that's another one.
Sunset Bane used him up, though. She apparently Tony did graduate MIT at 15, which is just like 5 years older. So that means that she was 20.
20. Banging a 15. I don't know how I feel about this.
But back in 1998, 1999, it was kind of like Tony was like 20 something. Well, he was clearly like 19, 18 back then. it was a little weird. He had a whole mustache and shit. And it's like, I don't know many 15-year-olds with mustaches, but then again, I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you don't associate with 15-year-olds, so.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had a mustache when I was 15.
I wish you had a mustache now.
I did have one, but
Epic.
Tony was just like, yeah, Sunset, right? why do you wanna hang out with me? Well, I want to go to Stark Solutions so you can help me with like my problems. And what she really wants him to do is to unknowingly unlock shit in the War Machine armor. And he's just like, how about no? Because he recognizes it. And then he finds Jocasta instead and just runs out. There's other situations too, like the Mandarin keeps showing up. He fought Fing Fang Foom in a really stupid story. It wasn't stupid, but it was like one of those really weird Fin Fang Foom stories where it's just like I don't think anybody really has a good idea.
Aren't all Fin Fang stories weird shit?
They're all weird in one way or another.
Yeah.
So it's a giant monster Fin Fang Foom. Of course it's gotta be.
Fin Fang Foom is odd.
Looks like we're coming up to about an hour and a half here, so I don't know if we want to keep going or what we want to do.
I'm willing to call it here.
Alright, so do we have any closing thoughts?
Read Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I have one thing to say.
And
please watch Nimona, just please.
Yeah, Nimona, fucking incredible movie. The swan song of Blue Sky Studios is an incredible animated film full of adventure, love, and everything you could wish for in an animated film.
Yeah,
one of the
really
best
good.
of the last decade.
It's definitely one of the best animated films. Probably one of the best animated films of this year is what I'm saying, but so I think that's everything though for us. Let's see. We didn't talk about the release calendar, but we don't need to worry about that. So yeah, I think we're all good to go here. So thank y'all for joining. Tune in next time, next Sunday, same time. We'll be talking about probably, Secret Invasion and some other shit. I don't know what's coming out this week, but we'll find out.
Nothing too
We'll
big.
be talking about comic books and comic books related things. That's
But I'm
for
going
sure.
to talk about Thor, though. But thank you for joining us. I hope you guys have a good day.
Yeah, I do too. All right, y'all. See you later.
Have a good day, guys.